This is the Different Generations podcast. We're waiting on Spoonie, but once we get started, Rob's going to tell us why LeBron James sucks. So that's fun. Roll us in here, Sohill.
Different Generations is brought to you by GBT Property Management.
All that smacking and bullshit in that intro. That was Rob, people, making those noise.
Hey, I got liquid death. It tastes like water.
It tastes
Believe it or not.
Is it sparkling water?
No.
It tastes like a can.
Tastes like a can of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Braxton, what are you doing?
Rob and I were just talking about the 100-mile race we're going to run together.
I did not say I was
Holding
gonna,
hands the entire time.
I will hold hands with you on a 5K and we can walk it together. But I am not running 100 miles. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it.
I think GBT Property Management needs to host a 5K
You think so?
for triglyceride like awareness or something.
Triglyceride.
It hits home, you know.
I tell you what. You do a 5K. I'll run a 5K with you.
Okay.
I'm not going past 5K.
Turkey trot.
What's a turkey trot?
It's just Thanksgiving. You run
Oh, how far is it?
5K.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Y'all are planning for next
Are you
November.
chasing
that's this year.
a turkey?
Huh? No.
No, the turkeys actually chase you.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind of like a bull run, only you're not scared of the thing that's chasing you.
speak for yourself. Have you seen a mad turkey?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
true. When Spoonie brought his turkeys around, I held it by its legs, not realize how heavy a turkey is.
I mean, well, have you ever had Thanksgiving Day turkey? Have you ever cooked one? Mm-hmm. Oh, so they're heavy. They're very heavy.
But when it's a live animal, you're holding it by
It's
its
even
foot,
heavier because it doesn't have.
and it's uncomfortable. It's like, hey, I don't like this.
Y'all are having way too much fun with this. I want to hear why LeBron James sucks.
because he sucks.
Look,
Michael Jordan is the best player of all time,
Okay.
bar none. What this scoring crap that he just I don't. It's all fake.
I got you. But why, if Michael Jordan's the best, does LeBron have to suck?
Why?
Yeah.
Because he's a prima donna. He's been taken care of his whole career. He's never done anything with one team. He's not loyal to anything that he does. He goes where the money is, and he's just, in my opinion, a spoiled, rotten brat and could not handle anything that Michael Jordan in his prime put on him, period. End of story.
I agree with that. But that doesn't have anything to do with how well he plays basketball.
It has everything to do with how well he plays basketball. I don't even think he's that good of a player. I just think the other players around him are not as good as he is.
All right. I don't know. I mean,
Compare Magic, Jordan, Larry Bird,
How about in
that
the league
whole
right now,
generation of players. They're far better in that period than they are today.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Witherspoon.
Y'all start already?
Yes.
yeah, because we started at noon, you know. We had a time,
It's noon 03.
and that's afternoon. So
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily always keep a good timer. Anyways,
Well, you think
Braxton, why do you think people think that way?
I don't know. I think what I've always heard from the LeBron haters is it's the antics. It's the kind of being a crybaby.
I do agree with that.
And
I
that's
mean,
why they tend to throw dirt on his name. Stat-wise, I don't know how they line up, but
Well, I can tell you championships, for one, line them up.
look, we're talking about being a good basketball player, being a dominant basketball player.
He's a good basketball player. He's not the greatest.
But we're not talking about being.
And he's not a
greatest.
great basketball player.
We're not
I think
talking.
he's,
He is 100% a great basketball player.
I don't know. I don't agree with that.
compared to everyone else in the league,
Compared to everyone else at the league, at the current league, yes,
But
he's the greatest.
How can somebody who knows how hard you work hard?
I work very hard.
All right, so you know how hard it is to stay dominant at anything.
Yes.
To stay on your weight.
Every single day, you have to wake up and you have to make sure that you don't slack off at all. Because if you do, guess what? The next day is going to be even harder.
I understand. So, how do you think LeBron doesn't live by that principle when he's been in the league since 2003? Yes, 2003, and it's 2023. He's been playing for 20 years,
D- d-
and you don't think he exhibits not a single principle of toughness or any of that?
I said he's a prima donna. I didn't say he wasn't tough. I just said he's a prima donna.
Let's rewind the tape.
Okay.
You're a football fan?
Yes.
We're both older. You're not a Cowboys fan. I doubt it.
No, I mean, I was giving you shit last night, but I think the Cowboys have a lot of potential.
Okay.
I think that they have a lot of talent
Let's
on the
just
football field.
drop that.
Okay.
All right. Michael Irvin.
Greatest receiver of all time.
Did he have antics
Yeah.
on the field, off the field?
Yeah, but it was a different generation then.
I understand it's a different generation. So
There was not a camera and a film and
doesn't
everybody
matter.
reporting on it.
Doesn't matter. His antics were there's probably some whores and some drugs
Yeah.
and some alcohol, a few off the field issues with some charges
Yeah.
that Jerry Jones.
Swept under the rug.
I don't know. He's one on the rug.
But it was a lot easier back then to sweep things under the rug.
Tons easier.
Yeah.
But as a player, you think he worked as hard and worked out and did the things, ate right,
Absolutely.
did all the things that he needed to do
Absolutely.
to work and be in the league for Jerry Rice?
It was a tougher league back then too.
Jerry Rice played in the same league.
Tougher league.
Jerry Rice played in the same league.
Tougher league back then.
Jerry
Than it is
Rice
now.
played in the same league.
I understood.
So compare him and Jerry Rice.
But Jerry Rice and him played at the same time at the same league at that in that NFL. Not today.
And one of them had antics that you didn't mind, and Jerry Rice had no antics.
No antics. Jerry Rice is probably he's probably one of the best.
He's statistically the best.
Yeah.
And he played for 20 years, took care of his body, ran up and down the hills, committed to it.
And it's a class act all the way.
But
Michael Irvin, same way. He's a class act to this day.
he's a class act, but in his time, like we're
had
looking
some
back,
antics, yeah.
we're talking about antics.
Yeah.
All right, Deion Sanders, antics.
Oh yeah, there was antics.
Right, Deion
Prime
Sanders.
time, baby.
Yeah, from Atlanta to San Francisco. He's probably the quietest in his career in San Francisco.
When he got to
The Cowboys, the whole time. I mean,
Neon Dion.
Neon Dion, baby.
would you assume that Deion Sanders had drank alcohol?
I've actually watched some of his stuff. Yes, he did drink alcohol.
He
I
did
would
not
guess
drink
he
alcohol.
didn't. Like he seems
did
like
not.
the guy that would never do that.
Go to
No,
to-
you're right. No, you're right. He said he's never
go to-
touched alcohol.
Go to YouTube and
You're
pull it
absolutely
up
right.
on Pat Menifee and Dion. So he never drank alcohol, but did he have antics?
Yeah, he had antics.
And his foot that's now had a couple of toes removed let him down. I always thought that was a fake injury. I thought because he even said last night on Monday night on the Manning cast that he didn't have shoulders built for tackling. He didn't
Yeah.
come up and make tackles on the running back. That wasn't his job. His playbook was 16 photographs of the dudes he was going to cover each week, and that was his only job. And every time he ever got beat, he was peeking in the backfield. So that
Yeah,
being
he
said,
actually said
that being said, Dion, I mean, the coach he is today matches none of what I knew about him as a player. He's a hard ass coach. I thought Dion was 100% talent and 0% work, and I discounted him the same way that you discount LeBron. And I think that it's extremely unfair. I hate everything about LeBron off the field, off the court. I hate his entitlements. I hate his whiny little opinions. I hate all the same things. But I know how hard he has to work to stay on the field.
I didn't say he didn't
on the court.
I didn't say he didn't have to. He doesn't work hard. I didn't say that. I said I just don't think he's. I don't think he's as good of a player as the people that were in that generation of the NBA. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Those guys. It was a harder league back then.
It is a harder league in the NFL back.
Yeah. I mean, people got hit
you
harder.
see the games of the Pistons versus how rough they were, physical.
But I'm just saying you can't discount
They've
somebody's.
softened every single sport
Yes.
out there for the benefit.
I agree.
To allow the players to be able to last longer.
Have a more than a 2-year
think
career.
about
Hold on. Time out. There's no I don't care how many times you get hit and everything else. That does take time off of your game, no doubt about it. But people played for a long time back then. Wilt Chamberlain not Wilt Chamberlain. Who's the scoring record? Who's got the scoring record in the NBA that LeBron's going for?
Kareem? Or,
Who is it?
Kareem.
let me
Is
see.
it
I think it's Kareem. But
He had to have played forever. He had to have played 100,000 years because he didn't.
He was old and broke, like when Magic was coming up. Like he was the old guy.
Yeah, I was too young to remember that. But I'm just saying that he had to play for 100 years, and LeBron has beat him at every scoring mark up until this point. So LeBron's going to break his record in less time than Kareem did. But that being said, people played for a long time back then, got beat up.
20 seasons.
20 seasons. So, I mean, LeBron's played, this is 20th season this year. So he's going to break his record. But it's hard as hell to stay dominant or anything. I mean, Jordan at the end of when Jordan was playing for the Wizards, he didn't have that dog in him like he did whenever he was for the Bulls. The Wizards, Jordan did not have that dog in him. I mean,
No.
he could still compete and play, but he didn't.
Well, but he also had Scottie Pippen. He had it was the whole cast of supporting actors to help him get to where and be as successful as he was. I mean, yes, Jordan is great, but he could not take that at the end of his career and go reproduce it somewhere.
I think there's a big nostalgia for that era because of the team aspect and like that dream team that Jordan had. Nowadays with politics and draft and trading and everything, that rarely happens. Like name another team like that.
I mean, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Kobe's
I mean,
Lakers.
Yeah, but that's
back then.
that's
too.
back then.
Kobe, no, it's not. Kobe played in the same era as LeBron. Kobe was drafted 4 years before LeBron. I think he came in the league in '99. I'm just telling you, Kobe played for one team.
So
he played at a high level and he drug everybody else up, and he got 5 championships.
So does LeBron work and have a good work ethic? Yes, I believe he does.
Okay.
Does he have an outstanding work ethic? Yes, you have to compete in the NBA. You have to. Regardless of what generation you are, you have to have a awesome dedication and work ethic to be able to be on that floor. He deserves to be on the floor. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if we're going to have a side-by-side comparison to that generation versus now, he does not even – he wouldn't even – you take the over – the whole NBA, you take that league versus this league now, he would not even be in the room.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think he would have started in 1990?
No.
Let's see. I think he would have. I think he'd have been a super freak in 1990.
No.
I
don't think you take him back to 1990. I don't think he has a mentality to handle it.
Oh well, no, but he would get it. I mean,
his athleticism
He would-
was
that-
not
You think
seen in the
think he
NBA.
would get it back in 1990?
Yeah, because the dogs ran the show back then. He would have had to.
So you insert his entitlement back into 1990.
Well,
He wouldn't have been able to have it.
He didn't-
Not hang with Bird and
Yeah, he
Jordan and
Let's
those
invent a-
guys.
let's invent a ti-
Rodman, all
let's-
those guys would have eaten.
let's
it.
take
Just
back
hard
in
dudes.
he'd have had to learn how to
LeBron's
fucking play in that environment, and maybe he'd have got that dog in him, and maybe he'd have been even better than he is now.
Yeah, but we're maybe in it.
I'm just telling you.
Well, but that's like, I mean, what if Tyson fought Ali? Like you have to maybe it. You can't. It's two totally different.
I do
like,
agree
things.
that every year that goes by, everybody gets softer and softer. I think that the NFL last night,
Did you see that roughing the passer?
that roughing the passer call was insane.
It's insane. Like they barely even touched him.
And I was like, what? Okay, I didn't see that.
And I mean, and Peyton and Eli were like laughing, like, boy, I wish. I mean, they even laughed about it. I wish we would have had that back then.
Yeah.
You know,
And then
we'd still
Dion-
be playing today.
Dion was on there, but yeah, it's so. What's he saying right here?
Tell the truth. Don't you guys want to play right now like this?
Yeah.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah,
This is the
Oh my,
good
look at
era.
this.
I mean, I don't
Where's
see it.
the roughing?
He
Where
landed
is the
on him.
roughing? Where?
Yeah, he landed on him.
I mean, that
Oops.
that wasn't insane, but I guarantee you,
Take
in the
Lawrence
NFL
Taylor.
No, Lawrence Taylor's what I don't know what Lawrence Taylor's playing weight was, but these dudes right here, the NFL is not the NBA.
No.
Let's face it. These guys right here, just on a pure athletic specimen, point of view.
Oh yeah.
These men,
But Lawrence Taylor was probably one of the best linebackers to ever play the game.
yes, and the offensive lineman weighed 270 pounds.
Now they weigh what?
370.
Yeah, 370.
I mean, they're over 300. Every single offensive lineman in the league now is over 300. The offensive linemen back then, they are not even close. I mean, Google the average weight of the 1992 Cowboys offensive line. You'll be shocked. I'm talking about Sohill. I mean, these when you start comparing generations in football, these guys today, they might be soft. They could be the softest dudes on planet Earth, but
Big boys.
they are fucking a completely different athletic specimen than the years previous. So they were.
When I was a kid, my mom was at the Lions Club, and there was an old dude that played for the Browns, like in the leather helmet days, and he was just a normal sized guy, like just 6 foot tall dude.
Yeah,
Those dudes don't exist.
well, you had 180 pound running backs, 180 pounds safeties, 160 pound corners. Those guys don't exist anymore. Like there's very few people playing in the NFL below 200 pounds.
In the 90s, it was 300. 2000s, 313. 2011, it was 310.
Yeah,
80s was 272. So the 80s to the 90s.
Yeah, they had those thick pads. You go back and watch those videos, how thick their pads were compared to now.
well, but nutrition has came so much further in the years. I mean, now kids have access to a nutrition program in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, think about just the internet, what the internet's done for nutrition. Braxton had information put in front of him as an athlete in his generation that Spoon wouldn't have been able to read it in a library book.
Yeah.
If he'd have known the book to go pull off the shelf. I mean, think about how hard it is to get the information in front of you in the late and mid 90s versus how fast it is to get it in front of you in 2015.
I remember when they digitalized the Dewey Decimal System at the library, and I promise you the health section in Cleveland, Texas, or Joshua, Texas at the time was probably that big. There was no info available.
What do you think about it, Braxton? You're of that generation, but you're not a sports fan. That's the odd thing about it. Like you're.
Well, I mean, but you're an
He
athlete.
played tennis,
How are you not
and
a
he
sports
he's
fan?
he just
Just
did
don't
an
enjoy it as
ultramarathon.
much to enjoy doing it. You know what I mean?
You'll eventually enjoy it
Yeah.
when you can't do it anymore.
Maybe so.
I mean, it happens to everybody. Like I didn't watch college football when I was your age. I'd go to them, but it wasn't like one of those things that I was just like, "Hey, I'm dying to go see a college football game." Now I would kill to be at a college football game because the more you separate away from it, like you were playing in high school, the more you separate away from it, the more you want to be a part of it. And the only way you
football.
in high school.
You played football in high school. I played football in high school. Neither one of them were allowed to.
You weren't allowed to.
So that's like I thought it was a Braxton's generation thing that because of head injuries,
Yeah.
moms quit letting their sons play football, but Spoonie didn't get to play either. Shane didn't get to play as well.
I played baseball.
Why weren't you
basketball.
allowed to play football?
No, I was just when I was younger. They would have let me play when I was older. I just never got into football. Like
But
when I was
that's not
younger.
the question is why weren't you allowed
Oh, it was
to
just
play?
a safety thing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They were, but I don't know that baseball was any safer. Like when you
Of
really
course
look
it
at
is.
It's way safer.
It's way safer. Except for if the ball hits you in the head. I mean, that's gonna hurt for a
Yeah.
while.
I don't know.
Or if you're a pitcher and somebody charges the mound,
That Pat
then
McAfee-
you're
If
unsafe.
you're Robin Ventura out there making
Pat,
a run at it.
Pat McAfee interview with Coach Prime is great to watch whenever he compares football to baseball. He's like baseball's not hard on your body at all. Baseball was time off. It was vacation. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't get that. Like, I mean, whenever Shane played in middle school, he was allowed to play in middle school, but I think he got hurt. I think he actually got injured, and then they didn't let Casey play and wouldn't let Shane play anymore, especially in high school. I mean, I don't know if I'll have that with my son. If his mom's like, he's not playing football, be like, all right, I don't know. Maybe we'll go to court over it. Like, I don't know what. I don't know that. I don't know that those injuries happen at the high school level. I just don't think you get permanent. I know people that got hurt playing football that ended up with permanent injuries that had more to do with the treatment they received after they were injured than the actual injury itself.
I think that's something that's changed a lot since our generation, though, too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like if you'd blown out your a ligament or something with your kids, it was more likely that they're gonna be like, get back on. We just got to finish the game. You tough it out, things like that.
Well, I mean, it's
Then nowadays, you don't think that Kara's gotten better at fixing stuff?
Oh yeah, but I'm just laughing. You didn't play football.
I know.
You wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have ever pulled myself out of a game.
yeah, never.
Injured,
Right.
would have never pulled myself out of a game.
Unless I just could not walk.
Yeah, they pulled you out of the game 100% of the time because of injury.
Yeah. You're ready to go back in.
Yeah, you would have played. You'd play till you didn't
Strap
have-
it up, wrap it up, whatever you got to do. Put a brace on it.
I mean, people depend on you. Everybody on the team's depending on you. The whole school is depending on you to make that play. You're not going to let them down over a torn ligament. You know what I mean? You'll figure out the torn ligament during the off season, but you worked your ass off all year for 10 times to play under the lights. You're not going to give that up over an injury. So now they don't let them do that anymore. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the policy is in high schools. I think they have more. They know when you've tore a ligament, but I mean, Brandon worked for 10 years with no MCL or ACL in his leg on a drilling rig, and the only thing he would say is my knee feels funny. You know what I mean? He went and got it looked at once he got insurance. He had paid his deductible. I think the year that Blaze was born, he had already paid his deductible because Blaze was born, and so he went to the doctor because he wouldn't have to pay another deductible. And they told him he didn't have an MCL or ACL in his leg. And he hadn't had one for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
That definitely had that. He was walking through pain every day. Had to been.
but oblivious to it. You know what I mean? Like if you just deal with something every day, that's just your everyday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they went in there and repaired it, and I think he tore it up again wakeboarding. I think the same knee, or he did the different knee wakeboarding. But whatever it was, I mean, that's how. I mean, that would have been us in high school. We would have been completely debilitated and not known it because we would have never got it checked out. That would have been more likely. What about you, Braxton? When you were in school, was it imperative that you heeded to every injury?
Oh, yeah, I mean, rolled a whole bunch of ankles and jacked up knees, stuff like that, but I never missed a single match, tournament, anything for
An injury.
I was sick at several. Like, you just kind of what you said. You work so long and hard for it. I'm not gonna waste an opportunity just because I don't feel good. Okay,
Yeah.
do it while not feeling good, but do it.
Yeah.
Well,
Kids.
It's
That's the part. Coach Prom's interview again with Pat McAfee. He's like, the kids are kids. They need structure. They'll do whatever you ask them to do. It's not the kids that have changed. It's the parents.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's probably the difference in a lot of the kids today that Spoon's talking about. They just had this coach over here in Rowlett. Did y'all hear about him getting in trouble for making the kids do push-ups? Did you hear about it?
No.
Yeah, look it up. Look up this coach. He made the kids do push-ups and they were dehydrated. So the parents got mad and the coach got fired.
What?
Football coach.
Made them do push-ups.
Could you imagine your kid coming home and bitching about that to you?
Oh yeah.
I would literally be
You gotta
like,
get the fuck out of here with that. Like,
I'd literally.
I'll tell you what, if the coach
that's
talks
all
to
he
me about
made you do. That's all he made you do was push-ups.
It's like, yeah, so it's like we still had that as punishment. So it's like I would not go home and tell my parents, oh, I had to do push-ups. Well, what'd you do? Like, that would be the next question.
Yeah. What's the next question?
Why did you have to?
That's right.
Oh, so you did that? Oh, okay. Well, now you're gonna get punished here.
I mean, Zoe was like, one day she was like, we have to run laps this whole practice. We have to run the whole practice because we lost. And I'm like, oh, I guess you should win next time. Like,
I mean, but this is
like,
they're saying these kids were over 400 push-ups. Now here's the funny part about this. We ran 100 yards for every point we lost by. We lost our homecoming my senior year by 42 points.
That's
We ran
4,200 yard dashes.
on top of practice and your already normal conditioning. Now they broke it up over practice. So we started off practice running hundreds, and I couldn't imagine.
Well, you do 10.
and your
Go back
parents
to
are
practicing, do 10,
back then. Your parents were sitting in the stands.
watching you practice.
Yelling at you for being slow.
Well, I mean, just there wasn't going to be no coming out and snitching on the coach. They watched it. They seen
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? There was no hiding.
Well,
it,
this
but,
says some students were hospitalized. Several were hospitalized. So
but
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 that's
it's easy to get hospitalized.
yeah,
Just go to the hospital.
Yeah, they'll put you in
I
there.
mean, 400. Is
But that's what we're talking about. That's the difference between soft ass Americans versus hard ass Americans. Look, back when we were growing up. Sorry, but when we were growing up, dude, you do not bring home a negative report from school. You did. Your ass was grass.
And 400 push-ups put you in the hospital. Let's face it, you weren't meant
had
for the
bigger
football
problems.
team, anyways.
If 400 push-ups put you in the hospital, then I would have been in the hospital my first day at basic training.
Oh, there you go.
First day at basic training. Like, I would be so scared. And that's why the recruiting is down across the board in the military. Like, it is so bad right now. They can't pay people to come. I mean,
Braxton, you've been in school the most recent.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happened here?
I don't know. I think that's just soft.
You,
They're gonna
I
put you
think
back on
that's-
IR.
I think that's parents and kids. But, I mean, I didn't experience that. Like I said, we still did push-ups as punishment. We would still run. We would still, I mean, but I can't imagine going to the hospital or something like that.
we
What
had
is
to
it? It's
hold
fatigue,
push-up
right?
position for felt like hours.
yeah.
That was-
Wall sits. Wall sits are terrible. Just doing wall sits for
So,
like an hour.
Your
Like,
first day of basic training, let me just kind of walk you through this. All right. So you get to reception and you're there for about 4 days. Right. And there's a drill sergeant there, but he's not your drill sergeant. So he's basically there as the hype man. You know what a hype man is, right? Like he's hyping up the whole situation. What's going to happen on pickup day? That's what they call it, pickup day. Y'all think y'all got it going on, huh? You wait till pickup day. Just constantly in your head. Walking through the bays like pickup day's coming soon, boys. Pickup day's coming. It's
so
coming.
what are y'all doing? Fucking off?
Oh no! You're trying not to, but you have no idea that you are. You're
Yeah.
trying to be as on your best behavior as you can be, but like you're fucking up and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
So it's this anxiety build for 4 days. Like you're not sleeping, you're not doing anything. All you're worried about is pickup day, and pickup day is the most theatrical thing you will ever experience in your entire life. When that drill sergeant gets in front of you, you're literally shaking to your core because you're just like, what's going to happen? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if they're going to put your hands on you. You don't know any of that, right? Nowadays, you'll get in trouble, but we're talking about 95, you know? Total different army than now. I mean, you're sitting there with such anticipation, and literally once they put you on the bus and they get you over to, basic training area, it turns from a switch, just flips on as soon as that brake hits on that bus. Your whole life is over for the next 48 hours. Just they're screaming at you, yelling at you. You don't even get no sleep. Like it's like in your face. Nowadays, there's so much soft ass stuff that happens. Like one of my buddies was a drill sergeant. They can't even cuss at you anymore. It's basically what
But back then, you were doing push-ups, running,
push-ups, running, like in your face. I got hit with a clipboard. They put your hands on you. Like it nowadays, you do that stuff, you're getting kicked out as the leader, as the drill sergeant. You're getting kicked out of the military.
Dude, there was just a bunch of flack over. It was a video from SEAL training, and people on the internet are like, this is horrible. They shouldn't make them do that. And I'm thinking they're fucking SEALs. Like those are the toughest dudes on the
toughest dudes on the planet. Like they've got to be conditioned.
But people were griping about it, like this is cruel. They should never train people like that. And I'm like, who is going to fight for you to sit at home and think about that being cruel? Like,
but
it's
you
crazy.
got to think the mentality. Would you ever join the military? Mm-hmm. You would?
It wouldn't take much.
Okay. Huh?
Would you go be a SEAL?
I don't know if I could.
Yes, you could.
Well, you got that bad eye.
It's true.
What's wrong with your eye?
We don't know.
It's not great. It's not bad, though.
We just don't know.
20/20 in my left eye.
Okay.
We're gonna have to lie to get him through.
They'll catch it. Trust me.
Waiver.
They may be able to get you a waiver. I don't know.
It's not-
Well, he won't be
it's-
flying.
What's wrong with your eye though?
It like the longer it basically when I cover up my left eye, longer I look at you start blacking out a little bit.
Okay.
Peripherals are great.
Okay.
All right,
Both
so
eyes open and perfect.
we're gonna teach him to shoot left-handed before he'll be able to really do anything of value at that point.
I enjoyed though.
Do you
Wouldn't take much.
So
Yeah.
this is the strange thing about being in the military. You're part of a top 1% of the country, and I don't mean financially, but mentally and physically qualified.
in today's Army too.
In today's Army too, if you are able to make it to basic training and complete basic training, you're top 1% mentally and physically. Top 1%.
There you go, Braxton. There's the
You want to
challenge.
be now.
I'm
You want to
already
be
1% of mankind as an
yeah,
ultramarathon.
I mean, there's a got to be a sign up area over here in Plano.
Why are you trying to ship Braxton off? You're president of a hedge fund, bro. You might need commitments first,
Yeah.
then ship him off to basic
Gotcha.
training if that's what you're going to
Commitments.
do.
I don't think you need to waste Braxton's talents at basic training.
Nah, if that's what Braxton wants to do, that's what he wants to do.
Well, he would
get
make
that
a hell
call,
of a
serve my
soldier. He
country.
would make a hell of a soldier. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
He'd make a hell of a soldier. He would be part of those people that are looking at this generation, looking at everybody. Hey, you soft ass motherfucker.
Green to gold right there.
Yeah, you would be top notch. You could do it easily.
Let's
You
see
could
if
do
he-
skills.
He'd be a
Sort of
hell of a
own
warrant
Army.
too. Could you
You know,
Could you see him
I'm not
as-
ready to structure that.
see him as like a CW4, CW5?
I could see him as a lieutenant. Yeah, I could definitely see him as a lieutenant.
What about a general?
Well, I mean, he's too young.
Well, it takes a
Too
little
young.
bit to get there.
How long does it take?
I can't vision
Like
him what he's
20-ish,
going to be like.
30
I
years.
can't vision him what he's going to be like in 20 years.
A general of
He's got the
He
haircut
could
though.
be. He's
Like,
definitely got the haircut.
definitely got the haircut.
I see him as a pilot, helicopter pilot.
helicopter.
Well, not with
pilot?
that bad eye. He'd be like, yeah, just turn left. Turn left.
I mean, you could be a helicopter pilot, but we're gonna have to fake that. We have to fake your eye exam. How can we cheat the eye exam so he can go to helicopter school?
I can cheat.
It's
the eye exam.
almost impossible.
I know how. Like,
It's
Quit
almost
talking. Quit talking.
So at MEPS, you're not cheating anything at MEPS, Medical Entrance Processing Station. For all y'all that don't know what that means,
Oh, we can get something by.
this
how I
is
passed
this is
my
not the
exam. That's
gray
how I have my
area.
license.
This is not the gray area.
Like this ain't buying a meth trailer. It's a little more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, this is the United States government you're dealing with. It's not, they're not gonna sit there and be like, oh, we're gonna let you fly a $5 million helicopter with a
With a bunch of humans in it?
with a bunch of humans in it, and you got a bad eye. That's not happening.
No way. Like $5 million. That's like a little bird now. There's no way. No way we got one that cheap.
Were you in helicopters?
Yeah,
That's right.
What were you on?
Black Hawk,
Oh yeah.
Chinooks every now and then.
You know what always freaked me out about Chinooks is how soft the landing was. Like those guys were so good, they set it down. You didn't even know they were
And
setting
those guys are
amazing.
Those guys are awesome. And structurally, that thing shouldn't even fly.
Really?
Yeah, look at it.
Like it's twisting itself in a circle.
Yeah,
Is it the big dolphin looking? The big
structurally, it
whale
should
looking?
not fly.
It's the one that's got. rotors
Where's the tail
front and back.
rotor?
Oh, there we are. Oh yeah, where is the tail rotor? Does it only have? No, it's got 3 blades on that front one.
Yeah, 3 blades on the front, 3 blades in the back, but no tail rotor.
It's got a little jet back there.
Yeah, structurally, it should not fly the way it looks. It's a bewilderment.
Do you know what the guppy is? It's the Boeing bird that they fly the space shuttle around in. They open it up and it's got the nose. Anyways, they've got it at El Paso. It looks like it's going to fall out of the sky every time it flies.
This thing
Is
right
that,
here,
is that when you lived in New Mexico or El
Mm-hmm.
Paso?
New Mexico.
El Paso or New Mexico?
It's at
I'm onto
Fort,
this
it's right
now.
at Fort Bliss. It's right outside of the
Well, where
airport.
did you live
I
specifically?
live in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Oh, was that? But I thought you lived in El Paso.
I
I
worked at
think you
both of them.
literally just said that's when you were in El Paso.
I worked at Fort Bliss. And I don't know how to explain that any other way.
We've got one theory that there's a house directly on the border.
It probably
No,
is.
there's not. You could look up all
And
the deed
other idea
records.
was maybe you had like an apartment for the side piece in New City.
I've offered
And
to
his
I've
house
offered to
still
show him
in
the
El
deed
Paso.
records before, but he doesn't understand that they can
Coexist.
two pieces can actually touch each other. White Sands and Fort Bliss touch each other.
They do.
Spoon told us
There's
that he
Doña
lived
Ana.
in El Paso.
You
I
see,
work there every day.
at
It's
Fort
the same
Bliss, you can
difference.
see-
I lived in Las Cruces.
at Fort Bliss. You can see the mountains of New Mexico.
We understand
We
that,
work
but
there
you
every
can
day.
only live in one place.
You can
live
look
in-
up the deed records and
Okay.
find the fucking address.
Here's one
I've,
for you.
I've tried to show
I
you before.
lived in
In
Tennessee.
El Paso?
In Las Cruces. I worked at both places.
Last
I had
was
an
it-
what was
office
your
at
address
Fort
in El
Bliss.
Paso?
I didn't have one. I worked at
I'm gonna
building
back
one
spoon. I'm
in
gonna
El
back
Paso.
spoon up on this. Okay, last duty station. I lived in Tennessee. Worked in Kentucky.
But you lived in one place and worked
Worked
in
in
the
another.
Yeah.
Spoon told us he lived in El Paso.
I said, I work there every fucking day. What's the difference?
Did you work there or live there?
You guys are fucking retards.
Did you work there or
hate
live
y'all.
there? Where did
You know
you
what,
sleep
fuck it,
every
I'm out.
night? What address did you sleep at?
Dude, I've tried to show you the deed records.
I thought you owned a house in El Paso. Did you not?
I'm fucking leaving. Fuck y'all.
If he slept on the job, would he have lived there? Perhaps.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we finally got it.
Did we really just lose Spoon?
Well, probably not. Maybe for a little while. I think his blood pressure was off. Is what he said earlier. This is an ongoing thing for us because he
This is years long.
he told us he lived in El Paso and he was an El Paso expert.
Then a couple months later, it got brought up. Well, when I was living in Cruces, it's
Las
like, hold
Cruces.
up. You just said you lived in El Paso. Started trying to connect the dots. Didn't line up. Story's never been the same. So I don't think you lived in either of them. I think you lied. We've heard about Arizona. We've heard about Oklahoma.
Well, all those places he worked.
South Dakota or North Dakota. One of
North
them.
Dakota, South Dakota, all those places he worked. I only ever said he lived in El Paso, and then we gave him a hard time about it. Since then,
Well, I mean, so now that we've been totally thrown off, the difference in generations that we were talking about is back then people were a little bit harder, and let's even go back further: 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 50s. Those guys were hard too. They
isn't
they
that
were.
just the natural progression of life, though?
But eventually, you've got to regress because if you get too soft, people are going to take advantage of you, and people are eventually going to say, "Hey,
What's
America's
You
soft
soft
won't be
right
able
now."
to take down a what's it called, muskox.
Yeah,
Braxton,
A
you
musket?
take in a muskox.
I could. Definitely.
what's a muskox?
It's like a
Musk ox.
A muskox.
It's like a mini buffalo.
Yeah.
like a little baby buffalo.
It's
Like,
definitely within my
Well, like I was
range of what I
saying,
could kill.
if you eventually trend downwards to a level of softness, eventually people are going to take advantage of you, and you can't allow that to happen. There's got to be a trend up of
Well,
hardness.
that's the cycle that they call it. It's a strong times create hard men.
Yeah. Soft times create soft men.
I would like to point out that yes, physically, like for in the military, for football, everything we were talking about, physical strength is important, right? But I think what you're observing is this generation and the generation prior, and as we keep going, figuring out that physical strength is not the only avenue of strength that matters, especially in, as Corey was saying, our evolving society, our technological landscape. Yes, it's important to have survival skills. I agree with that. It's important to stand up for yourself. A lot of that has to do with emotional strength.
but everybody
know,
now's emotionally soft.
Yeah, they're emotionally soft. They're physically soft.
And I don't think you can be emotionally strong without being physically strong. 'Cause It's
Yeah.
like what we talked about very first episode, and I'm sure you'd agree. Like what sports does to people as far as character building and development.
Team building, character building,
Right.
mental toughness. What's the word I'm looking for?
Competitive spirit.
Competitive spirit. All that stuff that you learn on a battlefield and that you learn on a football field or you learn on a court is extremely important for basic life skills. And we've got Spoon back disrupting my speech. But anyways,
Had to go get something.
oh, he had to go get something. Anyways,
He's got the deed records.
Blood pressure medication.
anyways, at the end of the day, you've got to have those life skills in order to be successful and have a long, prosperous life.
I think that's the what people have done is we got an iPhone, we got tech, we've got all of these different technological advantages. The people that made this got very, very, very wealthy, and they aren't necessarily the strongest men on planet Earth.
No, they're not.
They're not physical specimens. They're not. You know, I mean, if you think about what it looked like to be successful back in the day, like what was a successful Viking?
Yeah.
It was the baddest dude there.
Now,
you know, it was just like Roman Empire. Who was the?
Oh God, I hate this photo.
Who was the successful people there? The baddest dude there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And over time, I mean, even back in the day, in the 1920s, all those guys persevered and came through a lot. Now, businessmen in general have been getting further and further out of shape as time goes on. But
I think physical fitness and business go hand in hand. If you're
Donald Trump ain't physically fit.
well, he was at one point in time.
He wasn't though.
I don't think so.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he had genetics, and he when he was in his 30s, he looked like he was in his 30s. But I mean, once he got into his 40s, he gave it up. But I do think
that speaks to the point. He's not the best at business. So
Yeah, he's not.
there you go.
But and you're showing photos of Elon Musk. I mean, all right, let's take Elon Musk. Let's take Trump off the table.
The
Let's
point I
look
was
at Grant
trying to make-
Cardone. He's a specimen.
Yes, but the point I'm trying to make with all these people is they now have 90% of the capital of the world, and they control 90% of the messaging in the world.
So you walk into a room, and I'm not trying to offend nobody at this table.
I'm just telling you, they're telling young men that they need to be soft. They're telling young men they need to be emotional. They're telling young men that emotional health is the most important thing on planet Earth.
Well, it is.
Men's health awareness. That's all gets blasted around.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry. It's okay to.
Well, you know what?
feel
I
and this
think
and
it
that.
is okay at a certain point to let some of your feelings out and vent, but then you got to man up and get through it. Like we got a problem. Let's say me and you got a problem, and we sit out and we hug it out, and we put it out on the table. Well, now it's out on the table. We've got it out there, but hanging on to that shit.
Wouldn't you rather just beat it out of me?
No,
Okay.
no,
I would.
No.
Yeah.
Well, God's laughing.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't you rather just
I think that's a weak quality though,
Well,
because
yeah, I
that's
think,
being an emotional man at that point.
do you
You're
see
letting
do
your
you see how the messaging
but
has
okay.
changed around?
No, I don't think
have you-
fighting solves.
have you
I
ever
don't
get-
think physical fighting solves anything between friends.
I don't believe that
Or-
because there's been friends, brothers, cousins, whatever that I've fought with and just fucking been best friends with afterwards. Sometimes you got to get that shit out of the way. It's just build up over years, months, whatever it is.
But you can accomplish the same thing.
But do you see how four men at the table are attacking the other person's perceived weakness of what it takes to be a strong man? Braxton says that fighting, acting out on your emotions and fighting it out is weakness.
Okay,
And he's the only one that goes and fights every week.
I think he's got a point though.
Okay,
Honestly.
but he's the only one that goes and fights every week.
You know
Let
how
me
many
expand
fights?
on that
You know how
then.
many? You know, hold on, just for a second. You know how many fights I've been in that I've regretted
I understand.
because at the end of the day, I hurt somebody. I hurt them to the point that it was not healthy, and we could not regain that friendship.
Okay, I understand that.
When I could have sat down and talked to them about what my
and got
issue
exactly to the same place.
is, I got to the exact same place. And
which
as you grow,
is not being friends anymore.
No. Got to the same place of being able to say, "Hey, this is what's bothering me."
Sometimes the friendship's just over.
That's true. You outgrow friends.
I mean, look, you can sit here and point it on the fighting. I'm going to say that talking it out would have probably just delayed the fight, and the fight is ultimately what's going to end it. Then it's going to be a fist fight that ends it. There's no unwinding that, putting that genie back in. Maybe 45-year-old Rob could not fight his friend from back then, but you'd have had to wait until you were 45. It's just a different deal. Now, Braxton says that physically fighting is not an outlet. It's improper. It's a bad use of emotion and everything else. But he goes and fights. Expand on it.
So Jordan Peterson gave a really good take on it, I think, and it's the idea that if you don't have the capability, there's no virtue in not doing it. So it's like I do think it's necessary. I do think there's a time and a place, but for most instances, like I'm not talking about defending someone, like that's different. Physical violence is necessary in a lot of cases, but over an emotional issue, over a disagreement, something like that, I think not having the self-control or the discipline to, be direct, be honest, tell someone, hey, this is what I think about it. Here's what you think about it. We discuss.
Me and him have had interactions before about a certain situation that we will not mention, and you've made it very clear that that is not something you will stand for. Those are proper boundaries.
Right.
Setting those proper boundaries inside of any relationship is something that you have to do, which can get to the point of avoiding physical altercations because you have set those boundaries in place.
I understand that.
And holding to those boundaries is one of the things that you absolutely have to do as a man in any relationship that you have, whether it be in business, whether it be in friends, whether it be in a marriage. You have to set those boundaries.
Okay, so men's health in general, over the years, physical fitness, the definition of it has changed. Right now, basically the betas have the
betas. You're talking about the betas?
I'm talking about the people that can't win in a physical fight, could never win in a physical altercation, could have no ability to win in a physical altercation, have all the money, have all the power. They control speech. They control all that. They have all that.
They have it right now.
So are you saying they're what's influencing that whole world, I guess, the most?
Yeah,
I would absolutely agree with that.
They're telling you.
I agree with what he's
y'all's
saying.
messaging that self-control is more valuable. Self-control is more valuable in a working relationship than being able to physically dominate somebody and beat the brakes off of them. Okay. Now, and I'll tell you, like I've had this conversation with you. There's no prize at the end of it. There's no prize at the end of it. But there's certain places that you're going to walk into in life. You would much rather be surrounded with those guys that can.
You're talking about us.
No, I don't mean maybe y'all. I don't know. But those guys still run portions of the world that you're going to find yourself in. You could just pop into it at the most unexpected time, and you would rather be surrounded by those dogs than you had been
by those
by the
kittens.
guys that want to talk it out.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying it's way more pertinent to life to being able to survive an altercation or a situation.
So would you think it's that we have progressed to a more civilized or a civilized society now that more people want to talk out? We're not more civilized. We have to be.
When I started construction, there were so many fights behind the Connex for people, and it was over. It was fucking over. People would go outside, you talk too much shit, and you get the brakes beat off of
Go
you.
out there and fight it out.
And it would be done. Everybody would be back at work, and the job site would be settled down. Like I had a dude threaten to shoot me on a job site before.
Fuck it, get your gun.
And I grabbed a bender, and I said, "You'll never make it to the fucking parking lot."
That's right. And
that was resolved
and those
there.
Are the
it was
dogs.
resolved.
Those are the dogs. Those y'all. I mean, you were in the military. You were around those guys.
Oh no, we went to the tree line.
Yeah, well, you were around those guys, but y'all didn't get to act it out a lot.
Oh no, we acted it out.
Well, all right, then there you are. I mean, at the point, it's like I don't know. I don't know how else to resolve that situation.
But hindsight, you always have hindsight in your life. I look back at some of those situations and I'm like, that was unfair. It was an unfair advantage. Like I was physically dominant over that person. I knew it.
I've got my brakes beat off too.
I have too. I've taken my whoopings.
So I just think when you start suppressing that, when you start telling men they can't be men, when you start telling men that him talking to a girl is violence, him wanting to fight somebody else is wrong. That is wrong.
Well, in the state of Texas,
you can have mutual combat. But I'm like, what is wrong about it? What is wrong about it? Like instinctually, something is telling me to move towards this, and I've got to ignore my instinct because of.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
No, I'm just saying in general. When the messaging is bottled up and parked to you, then it's just a buildup. Then when you finally do let that dog out, it might not be the dog the world wanted to see.
Yeah,
but I agree with that also.
I mean,
and I do think the capability and capacity for violence is something that everyone should have and train and be good physical health in order to act on.
I think Chris Kyle said it best, and I'm paraphrasing. It said something like, until you're not a dangerous man anymore, people will fear you. When you stop being dangerous, that's when you lost. And I'm paraphrasing, but
yeah.
So what I don't understand is, do you think, aside from just like turning somebody's light switch off, if you hit Rob, do you think he'd hit you back?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
What about me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I'm a terrible fist fighter,
Yeah.
but that's just in my, like, I can't not do that. At least go down swinging. I've had the brakes just beat off of me, and I'm assuming the same for Braxton. He hadn't been in some of the same places we have, but I know there's a significant part of our society now that wouldn't. They would just stop and be like,
Why are you hitting me?
yeah, like, please don't do that. I can't imagine that not being the next step in that.
I don't see. That's crazy.
I think there's
you can watch,
way more than you can
Want to
imagine.
run away
that
instead
would-
of
There's a lot more
well,
people
just, I mean,
nowadays
just
that will
fold
run-
up and just like, I'm going to cower and just take my ass whooping.
I mean, I see the argument for yes, people will choose to in interpersonal conflicts talk it out more than beat each other. But if it's self-defense or someone's coming after you or your family, I don't.
Again,
It's not.
I'm just saying, I think society has changed.
there's a time and a
But,
place to take and receive ass whoopings
But here's
in your life.
the other thing. Jasper's 2 years old. I didn't teach Jasper to hit. I didn't teach him. I didn't teach him aggression. I didn't teach him any of those things.
It's naturally instinctive.
Oh, he is 100% natural about it. The other day I told the story about him. Well, I don't think I even got to it. I spanked him at a restaurant on the good meat, on the leg. Got that good spot. And it was about the third time I'd done it, so it was as much as I was willing to give him, right? And it would have normally made him cry, but as a little boy, me being his dad, he would have cried for his mom. But being his dad, he just and swallowed it and didn't cry. Now that's not taught. That wasn't. He's a 2-year-old. You know what I mean? I'm not like, hey, don't cry, be tough, don't. You know what I mean? No, he wanted to cry. It bothered him. He stopped what the behavior was corrected, but he wasn't going to give that.
I think that's very interesting that you said that, because literally we just can we talk about this?
Hold on.
Okay.
But he wasn't going to give his dad, his father, the satisfaction in that moment. It would have embarrassed Emery. We had other people eating with us. It would have embarrassed Emery. She would have cried out of embarrassment. He was like, I would be embarrassed if I cried right now, and I ain't doing that for my audience. Like right now, I'm going to eat that.
it's like he knows you don't cry with dad because nothing ever changes when he does.
Yeah, well, true.
It's like,
that is
okay,
true.
I can cry when I'm with him. I really don't get what I want, so probably just not going to do it.
Yeah, but it's also there's something there in nature that, you know, it happened 2 times at that meal, that he got swatted on the hand and he got swatted on the butt and didn't cry, and you know, it was amazing to me. I was like, oh man, this is going to be fun. I had instant respect for him. You know what I mean? Like I was like very like, oh, that's, if I could pick one quality, the hard-headedness, that one hard-headed quality, whatever hard-headed is, whatever that self-belief is, that, you know what I mean, in myself, I would pick that for him. And it appears at 2 he's got it. Now I don't know. You know what I mean? A lot of things will change between now and then.
Different scenario, kind of. You know, you called me. I was hunting with Eddie this past weekend, and I came home, and I was unloading my truck, and I left the door open. I was unloading all my stuff, and Amberly darts straight for the back. You know, it's a new truck. She wants to get in and play with it.
Guns in
darts,
there.
guns in there.
Yeah.
It's unloaded.
Okay.
You know, it was, but it's still the fear, you know,
Yeah.
of what could she do. That literally, we lost her for 15 minutes because we didn't see her go in the truck. Like 15 minutes, the whole neighborhood's looking for her. Madeline finally goes to the back of the truck and finds her and just loses it.
Yeah.
And I grab Amberly and I take her inside, and she's in tears. I'm like, what are you crying for? You can't play hide and seek from mommy and daddy. You can't do it. And I can't spank my kids. I'm sorry. I can't, my daughters, I can't spank them. So I'll thump her to get her attention. You know, thump her on the butt or thump her on the arm or something like that. I can't,
Yeah, no, I got it.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just something in me. I just can't hurt them. And I think it hurts her more that I put her in timeout than it does for me to pop her on the arm, because she still wouldn't answer me when I was thumping her. And she's like, she would not answer me and agree to what I was saying. Now, she's 3 years old. She's able to understand. We're able to have a conversation. So I said, okay, fine. You're going to timeout. As soon as I said timeout, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I won't do it again. Yes, sir.
Right.
Total different scenario, but
Well, boys and girls.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my twins run off all the time. Like we live out in the country, and I caught them in the car a while back. They just ran out there and were trying to play, because it wasn't locked. And I'm like, you can't do this. Like that's a scary situation all the way around,
dude,
especially in Texas. That's the scariest
That was
situation.
the scariest situation I have been in as a parent.
I've been there.
I was losing my mind because I thought she had snuck in the backyard, and my first reaction was go to the pool.
Oh, I have had that moment before. We got a fence around the
Can
pool.
she swim?
Kinda.
Well, if you teach her to swim,
No,
she lives on a planet with water. Might want to teach her to swim.
No. She's got swimming lessons, all that, so she could probably figure it out. But at the end of the day, my mind is she's in the backyard. How'd she get in the backyard? I went back there, and everybody else is in the front looking for her. I'm in the back, like looking in the pool. It's dark. I'm going flipping on lights trying to find her. And I was like, that was the first reaction. Go to the pool.
We
That's
lost Biggins in the office.
scary
one day.
run.
I took the elevator.
the elevator
down,
story.
up, down. He was on Braxton's desk, but I was like, well, I think he's locked. He's locked in the building. No, he can't operate the door. So he's in the building. We got 9 floors to clear. There's 2 of us. Braxton's on his way back. We'll find him. You know what I mean? But it's
scary.
these.
Well, I mean, there's stairwells.
like
there's a lot of
literally-
scary.
I literally,
we'd have got the police involved.
and the reaction I had, and it probably wasn't the right one, was I immediately wanted to blame Madeline, which was not the right reaction because I respectfully, I should not have done that. I said, this is your fault. That was my first reaction. And I shouldn't have said that. And I apologize for it. But at the end of the day, those reactions that you have and those moments of fear is like, holy shit, I've lost my child. She's gone. Where is she? Because, we're walking by the Bronco, like we're walking by the truck screaming at the top of our lungs, Amberly, Amberly, and we hear nothing.
Yeah, she didn't come out. But what do you think about it? Like you've got the ability to fight. You've been in fights. You've done all that. Mm-hmm. What would you think if you were somebody that didn't even believe in it, and now you're there in that same scenario with your family, and you got that situation where you're going to have to fight for your kids?
Oh, I'm whooping that ass.
Now, but if you didn't know, if you were of the belief that talking it out would be the winning scenario.
You involve them kids in the situation, and they're threatening my family. I'm sorry. We're going.
Well,
I'm grabbing weapons. I'm grabbing knives.
I understand that, but you see, that's the dog coming out. They are literally teaching men.
Well, the dog
isn't
gets
that
caged.
out.
The dog gets caged at a certain point in
Because
your life, and you will get caged.
My dog's caged.
Who's teaching men to not defend themselves? I don't see
it's not like it's just cultural. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's cultural.
It's not that people are sitting there. You don't need to fight. It's just culturally, it's becoming unacceptable.
Well, it's like in my school, if the rule was if you got in a fight, even if they started it, whatever,
Yeah, that's
you
a
would still
crazy
get in
rule.
equal trouble.
It's still that way, and I've literally told my kids' parents or my kids' teachers, that's fine. We'll kick them out of school with them. Like I'll give them a party. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's like it's subtle, just pushes. I feel like.
Well, and everybody. I don't know how anybody could argue against the fact that every day on social media anywhere, men are the villain. This lady cop that
They're not. They're
banged all the homies.
You see.
Did y'all see that?
Can we pull that up because I've been lost on this?
Okay.
Does nobody
I
else
guess I
feel
missed
sorry
it.
for her husband?
I'm pulling
She
it up.
she banged all of her coworkers or whatever it
six
was.
coworkers.
And the internet is dragging her. They're making fun of her relentlessly. Where if it was a dude, and
He'd
damn
be
well
getting
if it
high
was a dude,
fives.
he might have charges.
Yeah.
Bro.
He might. I mean,
Bro, like I feel so bad for that dude because they're dragging him too. They're showing all their pictures off her Facebook and stuff. And
no. I'm talking about her banging her coworkers. How many coworkers does she bang?
6.
6 coworkers.
She's a police officer.
She's a police officer.
Yeah,
So she banged 6
That's here
coworkers.
at the top one.
If a guy
Go back.
banged 6 of
That
his
picture
coworkers,
over there on the right.
That's
Oh,
married.
That's her.
six married coworkers, okay? Wouldn't it be criminal? Wouldn't it be sexual harassment? Wouldn't it be?
Well, it depends on if it's consensual or not. But yes,
No,
I
no.
think those
This was
women.
all consensual.
I think
They were doing it on the clock.
Okay. But
No, the point he's
I
making.
think I know what point he's about to make.
I'm just
not-
telling him.
I'm just telling you, like the people are asking, what is it with society? It's like, if a man bangs 6 of his coworker, he's a criminal. If a woman does it, it's the best joke on the internet. Do you see how society has conditioned you that? Now,
Yes.
I ain't saying which one's right or which one's wrong. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's probably somewhere in the middle.
okay.
I mean, it sucks to be that lady right now.
I mean,
Having-
same thing when a female teacher, woman teacher
Bangs a
sleeps with
student.
a student. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
horrendous double standard.
But even the male students that are banging, or the male teachers that bang students, they don't seem to get in that much trouble either.
Pretty
I
much
think
everybody
they
just
get more
regards them
trouble
as
than,
like a
than
predator.
the girl does.
I think society views them in a much different light. I don't think they get. I think both punishments for banging students is a slap on the wrist compared to if Braxton's just out banging high schoolers in the wild. You know what I mean? I think it's a different approach. Have you seen the sentences that the teachers get? Has anybody actually looked at them, read them?
No,
And they
not
get
really.
5 years probation and shit like that. You know what I mean? Something you would never get. I mean, you would just never get that if you were out doing that in your spare time. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. I wouldn't. We would be, I mean, just written off. But the teachers in general, they get 5 years probation, 5-year sentences. I think in the last few years, the sentences have gone up. But back in the day, they didn't even file a police report. They just fired you. They said, oh yeah, Rob, that's unacceptable.
You're out of here.
Yeah, and female teachers, I don't even know if they got fired. I think they just got the kid moved out of their class or something. I mean, forever it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure they
I don't
probably
know
got
if that's
fired.
accurate. That's,
No,
that's
I-
not.
No, they get fired.
Hold on. First off, who here had a teacher at their school bang a student while they were in school?
Me.
2 of my friends.
What happened to them?
I banged one.
Yeah, but what happened to the teacher?
Jail.
I banged one.
So yours went to in Plainview. They went to jail, or in
No, it
Dallas.
was in Frisco.
All right. So in Frisco, they went to jail. Rob,
my senior, I was 18.
I don't
Okay,
care.
wasn't
what it
taking
was.
I wasn't taking
Rob,
advantage
what happened
of
to the teacher?
nothing.
Did they
Nobody
teach the
found
next
out.
year?
Nobody found out.
Okay. Well, how many of them did somebody find out?
I don't know.
Because I can name
I
off.
remember this one.
Well, I can name off 5 teachers that everybody knew about that nothing happened to. Nothing happened to. Coach Barry was the only one that got fired,
Holy shit.
and he didn't get,
I was 18, man. What do you want?
but he didn't get criminally charged.
So hold on. It's age of consent, right?
But
It depends on.
We're
what
not
sex.
worried about
we're not
Romeo
worried
and
about
Juliet
that.
laws. You were 18. It's fine. Nobody cares about that.
nobody cares about that. That's not why.
It's
No, I'm
it's
saying-
morally looked at as like moral turpitude in a Jordan Peterson term because it's a person in a place of
Position of
influence
power.
with somebody that is under their influence.
That's why it's a big deal.
Okay.
That's the only reason why it's a big deal.
No matter the age difference, you were emotionally a child compared to somebody with life experience that is in a position of
So let's
authority.
go, let's
but
walk.
here's-
Let's say it's a
time
brand new
out, time
team,
out. That's what I'm saying. We had some 23-year-old
Yeah, I get it.
teachers,
Super
22-year-old
hot.
teachers,
and you have an 18-year-old senior.
senior. I mean, there's not a ton of difference
get
between
it.
those humans. College
That
is high
that
school.
18-year-old senior could be dating a 23-year-old that's in college.
Yes.
Could be.
Yes.
And nobody sees it as anything bad.
Right.
So you take that same 18-year-old that's having sex with a 23-year-old teacher that's now a professional. What's the significant difference?
the power.
teacher is
one has a graduation
no.
and a certificate that
No,
says
Rob. The teacher has a responsibility of a teacher is in a position of power that they have a responsibility to provide safe learning environment for a student, a safe place for a student to go. I mean, I've worked in schools and been a teacher for a long time, and that's not. I can't imagine being a teacher and thinking that's okay. That's not your relationship to the student. That's
understood. But
I know 5. I'm not going to name names, but I know 5 teachers, and I know the students, and everybody
You know
talked
one,
about it.
As you say that.
Yeah, and
Got fired.
Everybody talked about
got
it.
fired. Did it get charged?
I don't think so.
And that was more of what would happen. There would be no charges. Now, no face, no case back in my day. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't no text messages. You know what was
proof.
it? Yeah, no proof. I mean, now it's it's much more worse as far as evidence. So I mean, they can file them. They probably can charge them criminally a lot easier and have a case. Where back in the day,
it's crazy. Teachers are always texting the kids.
Yeah, there's always a text message and a butt naked and a, you know what I mean, like the whole shebang.
You kind of got to live by that. If you're going to do that, you kind of got to live by the old rule of no evidence whatsoever.
They never do.
Yeah.
But whatever it is,
Get a burner.
I'm just saying the perceived difference between a male and a female in that situation, and not talking about the penalties under law. I'm talking about just how society views them. Is a completely different standard. Even me sitting here right now, sometimes I see those teachers that are begging students. I'm like, you go, son. Go, bro.
Corey, I do agree that like that double standard is often ignored by society, and like other double standards that affect men, such as like family court, divorce court. Systemic things that do affect men disproportionately go unaddressed, and that creates a lot of radicalization, a lot of anger and disdain towards when people express other legitimate, marginalizations.
So go back 20 years, same scenario, no cell phones, back before cell phone service. Me and my buddy, not mentioning any names, we used to give each other's high fives. Like, hey, did you spend last night with her or did I?
You talking about the same teacher?
Same teacher.
She's a nice lady.
Yeah, she's a nice lady.
What subject?
English.
All right. What was your grade?
Didn't matter.
I know it does.
It was fair.
No, what
I got what I earned. How about that?
you got a C?
Probably.
Oh,
I think
God,
it's C or a
that's
D.
terrible.
Yeah.
If I'm banging my English teacher and I'm not getting A pluses, that's an indictment on me.
No. It
Well,
wasn't.
how old was she?
Brand new English teacher.
We had one of those. We had an English teacher. She was super hot. She was right out of college.
Super hot. Didn't care.
Cheerleading coach also.
Yeah,
She was a
didn't
very
care.
pretty lady.
I had very low morals back then. Like I just didn't care. I think like back in the
or
day.
you're just a human.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
You're
not
all-
your.
You're a 18-year-old full of testosterone
Yeah.
that saw a hot lady.
It says nothing about your
Well,
morals.
no.
or your
So
ethics.
there was. She used to hang out at this bar called the Dutch Bar that everybody in Mississippi used to hang out at.
So now you're at the bar at 18.
Oh.
This
Yes.
is the most redneck story I've ever heard.
I told you I come from Mississippi, brother. Backwoods Mississippi. It's not that city life. I hate it.
I was at the bar with my English teacher.
I was at the bar with the English teacher on a Friday night, and we just kind of hit it off. And
Yeah.
me and my buddy, we both kind of like shared her. a
Y'all
little
all
bit.
hit it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's. I mean, look.
You didn't like stare at your buddy in the eyes during the
No. It wasn't. It
like,
wasn't.
during
there
that
was no
moment.
sharing it together.
Okay,
It was
I mean-
more like sharing, like, hey,
Because you ever lock
I'm
eyes
done with her.
during
You
the
can have her type
Oh my
situation.
you don't want to. I don't want to look you in the eyes right at that critical
Yeah,
moment.
your generation loved that shit.
Of course, we
Like
did.
growing up on no, not that, Rob. I'm talking Jason. Like growing up, all the comedies and everything, the just cultural zeitgeist of
Yeah.
looking each other in the eye, sharing. That was all.
No, it was great. I think those are some of the funniest movies made.
Yeah.
There's a great Patrice O'Neill joke about what the difference between a threesome is. Like his girlfriend told him that she wanted to have a threesome, and he's like, "Oh, great, let's do it. Who's the girl?" And she's like, "No, I want you and
Your buddy.
your buddy." And he's like, "No, that's not a threesome. That's a train. Like that's me and him."
It's an Eiffel Tower.
And I don't even know him.
Yeah.
And he better not look me in the face.
At all. Yeah. That.
Why are you blinking at me? Just deal with your half of the torso. It's a great joke. But anyways, yeah. So I do agree that
Braxton.
our generation did grow up on that funniness.
Braxton. What would you do if you were approached with a threesome situation?
Oh God.
Not
No.
about it.
You're not about it?
It's weird.
Why is it weird? Two
Just
girls?
weird.
Two girls?
It's weird.
In the context of like a one night stand, you'll never see them again.
Not about it.
That's some moral high ground there. I like it.
If I was his age, by the way, I've never had a threesome with two.
He was also never your age. He was born a 40-year-old man. He came out of the 40-year-old man with.
Rob had a beard the day he was born.
He came out and was shouting at people.
I could show you pictures. You'd be like, "That was you." Like you'd be shocked. Like skinny as a rail, no muscles whatsoever, and then one day I woke up and just started going to the gym.
So, yeah, I knew Braxton was going to give that answer. Braxton's a good kid. The other day he
but that's the difference. What would you do if you approach not?
First of all, I'm married, and
you can't use that excuse right now. You're not married.
I am. Like, I can't even believe you're having to ask me. You should know the answer.
Okay,
like that's ridiculous.
Are you jumping on that? No. You're such a damn liar.
I'm too jealous and insecure to be in there with 7 ladies that are doing things to each other.
What about 6?
No, just 2 that are doing things to you.
No, I don't need that much done to me.
It's such a damn liar.
I mean, it's
you're a liar. That's what you are.
No, I'm gonna. I mean, I'll watch. I'll hang out. You know what I mean? Like,
you just gonna be a creep in the corner, like running?
No. I'm not gonna be a creep. I'm not gonna be a creep in the corner. I'm gonna be right. Pretty close.
How are you right? What's the position? Like, how do you show us how that looks?
I mean, like just laying in the middle of the bed.
Oh, in the middle.
just maybe some refereeing. I'll throw a flag every once in a while. Like foul, timeout. Hold on.
We got some passing interference, 15-yard penalty.
You
take a break.
It's like an MMA fight. I reposition everything. I'm like, all right, go, and then I sit back down. I go back to my spot.
I've never heard such much shit talking in my entire life come out of Corey's mouth. He would be all over that, like stinking shit.
Not at all.
Yes.
No, zero chance. I'd be like, oh, these women are disgusting. I'd judge them. I'd throw out a tweet about it. I'd live tweet it. I'd be like, these ladies, I'm watching.
All these answers are coming out right now too.
These ladies that are here are disgusting. These whores. That would be it. Okay. That'd be.
I know why too, Jason.
Corey doesn't condone such actions.
Yeah, no.
And as
I would probably break out the Bible in the middle just to see.
I mean, there's a Gideon Bible in that hotel room.
Just to see if they could power through me reading the book of Psalms.
I can't do this.
Sorry.
I'm leaving for a whole different bunch of reasons now.
You're just reading Revelations.
On the 6th day.
Oh my God, dude.
Revelation's pretty. Yeah, that's the one.
I mean, I haven't thought about this a lot, but I asked my old lady. I said, "What'd you do with $1 billion?" She was like, "What would you do with $1 billion?" She didn't have an answer. I'd prod her, beg for the answer. I asked her, "How would you kill me?" And she said, "I'd give you a shot of something like between your toes." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like you hadn't thought of how to spend $1 billion, but you know exactly how to kill me? Like, that's crazy.
Oh Lord!
So
I will. I know exactly what I'd do with $1 billion.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
Braxton, do you find that odd?
What, that she knows exactly? No, I don't find it odd at all.
We know
it's
she's
the
planning to kill
exact opposite of odd.
Damn, how
like
would
it
you
makes
kill me,
more sense than it doesn't.
No, it would be either just like bludgeoning with a dull instrument or a.
Dang. What about you, Braxton? How would you kill me?
How would I kill you?
Yeah.
I don't have to kill you.
Oh. See, Braxton.
I just have to put an energy drink in front of you.
That's soft.
You let him kill himself.
Yeah. Like, I just got to be patient. That's how I kill you.
Damn.
Like 2 months.
That's mean. I mean, technically, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody answered your question, but you, Rob.
How would I kill you?
No, about the 3-way.
About your nonsense about a threesome. You brought a threesome onto the podcast. And makes poor Spoonie awkward, me awkward, Braxton's.
Oh, I'm jumping on that all day long. No questions about it. If I go back to being single before my marriage, I would. I've never been approached with that situation ever. Out of 20 years,
Did you
in the
ever
military,
seek it?
There was one opportunity I had, and one opportunity, and I literally turned it down because it was
Two fat girls.
nope.
Oh.
Very attractive ladies. They were
So you're in
both-
the exact same position. You were just making fun of Braxton for this very thing.
No. There was a
called
moral
hindsight.
implication. There was a moral implication. Both of them were my buddies' girlfriends.
But your buddy had two girlfriends.
No.
If he's got two girlfriends, he definitely has more.
No. Buddies.
Oh, so you had two buddies and their girlfriends.
Yeah.
And you were babysitting them. What was going on there?
Basically, I was babysitting.
You're
them.
hey.
And I was approached while they were gone,
Oh God.
and I was like,
This situation sounds terrible.
I know.
Hey, you had to do it and then tell your buddy, look, I was just looking out for you. Like, hey, these girls are
Yeah, they're not
horrible.
loyal.
I'm helping you out.
No, I couldn't do it.
Now they're married to these ladies and
No,
they don't
they're
even
not.
know.
They're not. They're not.
Well, try to fire back up.
No,
Get on Facebook.
that was 25 years ago.
Rob's
God.
just diving in 25-year-old DMs.
DMs weren't a thing
I know
back
Facebook
then, man.
didn't exist back then, but what are you up to?
Yeah, what are you up to?
Go
You
look
remember
at-
that time we were in the trailer and
You
and what's his name went to the store to get beer and no, it was not worth the. It was
Did you
not worth
tell
the-
your buddies?
Oh yeah, I told them.
Oh, stitches.
Did they believe you?
Yeah, they believe me.
Then why didn't you? Oh my God.
So if they already knew that they're that tight,
But
this is almost as infuriating as the Cowboys game to me.
well, no. At the same time, they were like, "Hey, we appreciate it. We're just going to get rid of them." So I was like, "Okay." And then they got pissed off at me.
Get rid of them.
Right. Like, you were in trouble either way.
Yeah.
Like, you can.
No, the girls got pissed off at me. They didn't get pissed off.
Nobody has ever been happy with somebody that showed up and been like, hey, your old lady or your dude's cheating on you.
Well,
Nobody's ever
they
been-
actually didn't cheat. They attempted to cheat.
I don't ever, like I don't know who you tell that to. I don't know what level of friend you got.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
before you can even broach that conversation, because you might end up getting beat up by the dude.
I made that
Well, no,
mistake one time in my life.
the situation was like, hey,
Never
man,
again.
it wasn't at the time. I was just like, hey, man, I think you ought to know this is what happened.
I mean, like I
There's
feel
a
like
time
in my
and place
group,
for everything.
in my group of friends, if I knew that, I could have that conversation with them. But like I don't.
we went to war together. You can have these conversations.
Oh, I know that.
You're
but
brothers.
I know that. I'm just saying there's a level.
The last thing I want to do is
Where's the
not
level
be
at?
able to share something.
I
with,
don't know.
with a
That's what
brother
I'm-
that I'm going to war with.
well, you would have that conversation with like Shane or me.
That's what I'm saying. There's those, but there's a certain level where you don't broach that conversation. There's a certain point where it's not worth the
It's not
worth the headache.
I made that mistake one time with a really good friend. I'm like, hey, I think this is happening. It's been problematic ever since then.
Yeah, it's just there's
Ever
wasn't
since then.
but it was a
problematic.
really good friend. You said really good friend.
I don't think
Really?
I think
couldn't
y'all. I
imagine
think
that.
y'all are missing the situation. When I say girlfriend, I say that very loosely.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm talking about bringing it up, like if Braxton's dating a girl, right, and I don't know her that well, and I don't know what their situation is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I just happen to be somewhere, and I see it. I'm like, you know what I mean? Maybe I take a picture and show them a picture. You know what I mean? But I don't understand what's going on there. You know, I don't understand what their level is. So I'm not necessarily going to go
stirring the pot, just
stirring the pot.
Yeah.
You know, and
Why
I'm like, oh, she's out there, and she's like, that's her, gay friend or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Whatever's going on there. And it's perfectly okay. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and now I'm just that asshole. Like, not everybody does, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, I got you.
I mean,
Well, this is a different time.
She had her
different
hand in
place,
his pants.
different location,
Well,
different world.
hey, I give my Braxton my opinion of girls whenever I see certain things. I'm like, oh, whoa. Like, I don't have to, like, my life experience leads me down this road. I'm a negative person when it comes to these sort of things, Braxton. That's what I tell him. I got some negative life experience that tend to make me believe this is this scenario. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
That's it.
Life lessons.
Yeah, life lessons. Like
Well, I think everything in life you get in these situations, you don't know how to handle it. You think you're like in my situation. I didn't want these girls to take advantage of my friends because we were about to get deployed. So I just pulled them to the side and said, "Hey,
you didn't want to throw a quarter or a coin under their couch.
No, I didn't want them to freaking, like any other soldier or dumbass soldier does, they fall in love with the wrong woman, they get deployed, and they empty their freaking bank accounts. There's more to the situation than just, hey, I just want you to know that your girl tried to bang me or approach me about it. It's like, hey, man, you need to be aware of the situation before it gets too deep. And you end up in a situation where your bank account's going to be empty and you're over in combat. You have those conversations with your brothers because you're going to war.
Yeah.
I mean, and we were getting deployed, and I told them, I said, hey, look, it was a non-combative deployment, but it's still going to be 9 months. And I told them, I was like, hey, you might want to check them. And I pulled them both to the side of the bar, like, very next week, and said, look, this is what happened. I didn't do anything, but we're getting ready to get deployed. I don't know what y'all's plans are, but y'all need to know that's what happened. And they both thanked me for it. Bought them a beer, and we went about our night of soldierly duties.
That's good. Braxton, what level of friend would you have to be before you would, like, would you tell me?
Yeah.
Would you tell Brenton?
Probably.
I mean,
like, I would tell Brenton.
Yeah.
But I also get what you mean. Like, I think there's a level where it's like, maybe not really my place.
Yeah.
Because I don't know all the extenuating factors.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd truly believe that. Like if Brenton brings a girl around, then I see her hanging on some dude, I'm not gonna go out of my way to ruin their experience because, maybe they ain't there yet. Maybe he's hanging all over some girl.
Oh, new intern, someone like that. No.
Yeah.
I don't have no idea what's going on there.
I have no idea what's
versus
going on.
DJ. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know DJ. I know their situation better.
Yeah.
Like,
That's great example. It's like end up. You're a liar. You didn't. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, it's like,
you know
it's
what I
just
mean.
that.
Like,
I tried. When you find out,
That's the conversation that happens on the other side. I don't believe you. All right, well, my bad.
Yeah, that's it. Because that could be it. Now you could have that hard conversation with somebody too. You know what I mean? Like, go to your buddy that's like fuck you. You're
It's
a
all
liar.
about approach.
I'm telling you,
Like,
It's all about the approach.
I'm telling you, that's my experience. I was like, hey, dude, I think this happened. He's like, fuck you.
You don't
No
say
way.
think.
All right.
You don't say think.
I
mean, it's all about the approach.
the approach was right.
criticizing.
It was I said, look, this is what I think's happening. Here's the facts that I have, and he's like, yeah, fuck you.
I would just
all right,
See,
well,
if that
that's all I can do.
happens-
Like, I'm out.
If
And
that happens,
the
it's
friendship
good either way because you learn that person
A, doesn't trust you.
Yeah.
And B, that you can't trust him now.
Yep.
And C, his old lady, she's up for grabs.
Possibly, yeah. C, she's up for grabs if you're not married.
yeah, I feel like you just
But you're
approach
married,
it
so
as-
it's not that
Yeah,
big a
it's
deal.
not that big a deal. I mean, if this is something that happened recently, no. But like back in the day, it's like,
Well, this
oh,
was
okay.
like 20 years ago.
Oh, even better. There it is.
Yeah.
Hey,
And y'all still aren't friends to this day?
he don't seem to mind.
Huh? Or y'all are friends?
Did you have a Motorola Razr phone at that point in time?
Oh, I had a Nokia.
You
I had a
take-
soap bar.
Could you take videos with it?
No, it was that little bitty square screen, like that big,
Okay.
that little bitty.
Well, sometimes you just got.
I don't. It
the
was.
bar
I mean,
soap-
this
the
was
blue
before
bar soap?
predictive texting, where you're like click, 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 click,
You
click.
talking about the blue bar soap? Yeah, I had one of those.
It's blue and black. There's only two colors that came in.
I remember I took a video of something happening on my Razr flip phone. I thought it would be funny to send it to my friends. So I took a video.
Yep.
And I sent
that's
it, and I sent it to them on the flip phone.
Mine was
They're
the
like,
black one.
They're like, "What was that?" And I was
Second
like,
picture. That one right there.
Oh, you couldn't tell?
I had one of those.
Like,
Or dark blue,
we have
whatever
no
it
idea
is.
what's going on in that video. It's just pixels of nothing. Because back then, whenever I guess you would send it through the ether, the video would turn into. It would go from
Digital code.
Yeah,
I remember when I got my Razr. That was a dope ass phone.
I thought y'all would enjoy that, but since it didn't come through as a video, I guess I'll just keep it to myself. Well, anyways, y'all want to wrap this up? How many hours in were we? 17
1.5
hours? 1.5 hours. Let's wrap it up. We'll come back, do some stuff about loans.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about loans next? What do you want to say?
A lot of things.
Jet Super Investor Meeting?
Jet Super Investor Meeting, how we've started the year so far.
$1 trillion worth of loans this year?
Oh, and I actually did the statistics.
We'll find out where Braxton is in his refi next. Later. I got a text message. If you like what you've seen here, Find Braxton on Tinder and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just keep swiping. He's on there.